What's up, everybody? Welcome back. We are here with some more PGA DFS picks and lineup advice, this time for the Genesis Invitational out at Riviera Country Club. Welcome. I'm Brian Jester, co-founder here at Occupy Fantasy, here to help you out with your FanDuel and DraftKings lineups for this week's PGA DFS slate. Quick video, 5-10 minutes long. Talk about the betting markets, what they're telling us, who sharp bettors are on, a little bit of information about this event, and then we'll talk about some ownership, who are some of the higher owned golfers on the slate, and who are some sub 5% plays that can help us win some tournaments. Before we get started, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Get notified when we go live, upload any new videos. We're doing these golf videos every single Wednesday for the rest of the PGA season, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss those. Give us a thumbs up if you like the golf content and you want us to continue to make more of it. Any questions, I will monitor the YouTube channel for the next day or so. Go ahead and comment on the video below. Any questions, comments you have about this event, and I will get back to you. If you want more in-depth discussion, want to join our community of members, join our Discord server, occupyfantasy.com/discord. That link is in the description below. So normally we start these PGA videos off with some weather discussion. However, very clear, no wind, pretty much all 4 days, no clear advantage for any AM or PM wave. So we really don't have to discuss too much of the weather. Instead, let's talk about this event a little bit. Riviera Country Club. This is an elevated event, only 130 golfers, 129 now that Brendan Steele has withdrawn from the tournament. So lots of great golfers, similar to a major in that regard. And generally, as Niramata, who is our PGA DFS writer, points out in the plug, when we have these elevated events, when we have stacked competition, it generally leads us down the road of more balanced lineups, which means it can be scary not to click on guys like John Rahm and Rory McIlroy and Scotty Scheffler, all of which are top players in the world and have won events recently. But history has shown us that when we build more balanced lineups, because we can get multiple guys in that 8 to 9K range who are still world class golfers, gives us a little bit better chance at building high end lineups. That goes for low risk contests. It goes for high risk contests as well. Now, this course, pretty tough for the most part. Many golfers, if you read quotes from them about this course, it's an all around test. Can't just drive it and get by. Can't just get there on approach. Can't just get there around the green. You have to get there everywhere. And finding balanced players who are good at as many of those skills as possible is going to be key here, like it is for most majors, honestly. And this is not a major, but it gives us that same sort of vibe. So if we have any of the top end golfers that are deficient in any of those major areas, which we'll talk about here in a second, that can be a reason to cross them out of your player pool. So, well-rounded game. Let's build balanced lineups. It's a really tough golf course. Birdies, they'll be made, but perhaps avoiding bogeys is more important because we are back on the West Coast. We have the POA greens, which, if you watched our videos before, you know that is very tricky, and we typically want to target guys who have either played the course before or grew up playing that style of golf in that type of environment. And we actually have. Let's go over to the daily plug, occupyfantasy.com. And every week in the daily plug, Niramata writes up some information about the course. And you might notice here at Riviera Country Club, the grass type, both the fairways and the rough, are kikuyu grass, which, if you're not familiar with golf or you're not familiar with this course, may be unheard of, but it's pretty different. Only a couple courses in the United States have it. Oftentimes, you'll find it in South Africa and in Australia. And you'll see that both South Africans and Australians have historically had success at this course. For that reason, it also plays really firm and fast, which is why Australians do really well here. A lot of their courses down there play similarly. So even if you're a great golfer, if you don't have experience on this course or you don't have experience in this type of course with both the grass types in the fairway, the rough, and on the greens, then you can struggle and it can be extremely difficult. So as we're looking through statistics, as we're looking through players to select, if they're Australian, if they're South African, if they grew up on the West Coast, if they've had success here at Riviera, it's one of the more course history heavy courses, then you can consider adding those guys to your player pool or giving them an extra bump. If you're trying to break ties, any type of experience, whether it's at this course specifically or this type of course in the past, you should break the tie in favor of that golfer. Now, let's talk about the betting market some. And let me transition here. And what we want to look at for the betting markets is we take a look at all of the sharp sports books, who has been hit. Their odds to win have improved as far as likelihood to win at all the sharp sports books that we monitor. We look at 3 or 4 every single week. We monitor them, and 3 guys so far. Again, I'm recording this at 2:30 in the afternoon on Wednesday. We'll get another round of updates late tonight when we pull it all together. So make sure you check our Discord server for any final updates. But we have 3 golfers who their odds to win have improved at every single sports book. So sharp groups have either hit them at multiple spots, or multiple books or multiple groups have hit them at these books. And these are guys we definitely want to consider for our lineups. They make the cut at a tremendous rate, and they finish high up at a tremendous rate. So let's go to DraftKings. The first guy, going with that West Coast narrative, it's Andrew Putnam, who's been on this list before in the last couple of weeks. Played college golf at Pepperdine, Southern Cal or Cal. So there's a West Coast golfer for you there. Putnam on the list has been hit at all of the sharp sports books. The next one is another West Coast golfer. Golf at Stanford. It's Patrick Rogers. He is 7K. So both Putnam and Rogers, super cheap guys that are getting love in the betting markets that can certainly help us round out our lineups. And the final one is Tyrrell Hatton, who has only played golf in the United States once so far this year, and that was last week at the Phoenix Open, where he finished tied for sixth. Now, 7th at the Abu Dhabi Championship, 38th at the Dubai Desert Classic. So he's been in the mix over the last month or two, but just now back in the United States last week for the Phoenix Open. Now he's back here, and sharp groups are hitting him. He has been hit at all of the sharp sports books. He is one of our overlap plays. So just one of 3 guys this week. The nice thing about this is that none of these 3 are projected to be more than 15% in projected ownership. So while we can play some chalky golfers in our lineups, we can mix in these guys who are a little bit lower owned, a little bit under the radar. And again, when we do our final ownership update this evening, we'll see if that changes a little bit. But as you've seen, if you've been watching these videos all year long so far, you know that most of the time these overlap plays, these sharp sportsbook plays, stay under the radar. So we'd love to see it. So speaking of ownership, now let's change and let's talk about the chalk. I'm going to pull up the Occupy model. OccupyFantasy.com ranks every golfer, FanDuel, and DraftKings with our projected ownership. Sorted by DraftKings ownership right now. And we see that 3, 4 guys, 5 guys above 20%, 18%, kind of in that range. Rory, Tony Finau, John Rahm, Victor Hovland, Max Homa. We have a couple more guys in that 15 to 18% range, all the way down to Adam Scott. And if we look here, let's just filter it out. Golfers, 15% or more. Okay, 12 guys. Not bad. As I said earlier, because it's a pretty stacked field, we won't see ownership get too outrageous like last week. We won't see it get too outrageous for any one specific golfer. Maybe 25% is the highest any one golfer will go, which means we can play pretty balanced and we don't have to worry too much about ownership at the top end. Now, if we're looking at these guys and we're trying to figure out who we're not going to play from this group, because we have to narrow it down somehow. For me, at the top of the show, it mentioned that you have to be proficient in all of those areas, right? There are some courses where you can get by not being a great driver. There's some courses where you can get by without being great around the green. But you need to be pretty good around the green here. And if that's ever going to be the case, I'm pretty much going to be crossing off or not playing heavily Victor Hovland, one of the worst around the green golfers by statistically over the past year or two, really since he's been on the PGA Tour. If you look at the golfers in this field, he's in the bottom 10 over the last 25, 50, 100 rounds in strokes gained around the green. Now, if you're going to miss fairways, it's going to be tough to get up and down for par here and birdies on the par fives. And Hovland is a guy that historically, yes, he's gotten better some, but he historically has struggled around the green. And if he's going to be 19% owned and be one of the most popular golfers, and he's going to be 8,900 is affordable, which is a reason why he's 19%. You see here, 8,900 is one of the cheaper of these guys. So that's why a golfer of his skill set and his talent just being 8,900, which is why he's 19%. But we're willing to take shots. We need guys to miss the cut from this high-owned group if we're going to get leverage in large contests, even in small contests. And Hovland's a guy that I would cross out, not play as heavily. We'll monitor the sports books and see what they're saying, but Hovland's a guy that doesn't check that box for a high-owned golfer who is able to get by in all those skill areas. Now, if we transition and talk about 5% plays, these are golfers less than 6% projected ownership that can help us win tournaments. Let's change these filters here. We'll go down to 6%. The first one has to be Putnam, who is our trifecta play, overlap play, sharp play, whatever you want to call it, just 2% projected on DraftKings. I mean, we get the sportsbook justification, and he's 2% owned. We're going to play him. It's a great large field play. I'll give you two other names that stand out here. Both of these guys have contended recently on West Coast courses, haven't gotten the job done, but they're in great form. They've shown great skill level that I don't really think the field has caught up to just yet. And the first guy is Davis Thompson, who, if you remember, battled with John Rahm on Sunday. Let's go to DraftKings here. We see Davis Thompson just 2% projected own. We bring up Davis Thompson on DraftKings, 6,700. Remember, finished second at the American Express, battled with John Rahm there, played fantastic all week. And now he gets another West Coast course here. So Davis Thompson, a 2% play that has shown he can contend. Probably more of a large field play. But again, anytime in PGA where we can bet on talent before the field catches up, we've seen this with guys like Davis Riley. We even saw it with guys like Colin Morikawa years ago. If you can bet on talent before the field catches up, that's how you get a big edge early in the season. So Davis Thompson is one of those guys. Another one is Sam Ryder, who has two starts, fourth at the Farmers, was leading that, was a favorite to win that for a while there on Sunday. 20th last week at the Phoenix Open. Missed some cuts before that, but clearly he's playing better. The field hasn't caught up. He's getting a little bit of love for some handicappers that we admire and that we respect. And we see Sam Ryder just 4% on DraftKings. In fact, we like him so much that Niramata decided to make him the cover boy of the Daily Plug this week. So lots of reasons to like Sam Ryder. All the qualitative angles that Niramata looks at, Ryder checks those boxes. And again, he's sub 5% owned. So Putnam, Ryder, Davis Thompson, sub 5% plays that can help you win tournaments. And again, as I say every week, these guys are going to miss the cuts probably more often than not. But if you look at every single tournament winning lineup, 90% of the time there is a golfer less than 5%. Almost 100% of the time there's a golfer less than 10% owned. So we have to find these guys. And if we're going to win tournaments, we have to take some risks. And no better chance this week than with these three guys I laid out. And again, they're gonna miss the cut, and you're gonna get a 5 out of 6 in your lineup. 5 out of 6 may cut. You're gonna miss the cash pretty decently often. But you're playing this for the long term. You're playing for the big cashes, right? That's why we're all here. If you want a big score, you need a sub 5% guy to go off. These guys are very likely to do it of the group this week. And when they do hit, we're gonna make a lot of money. That's just how it works. So that'll do it for the video. Appreciate you listening. As always, very quick video. If you want more in-depth info for this PGA DFS event, make sure you check out the Daily Plug, occupyfantasy.com. Top plays, lineup construction tips, lineup strategies, course information, weather. Wednesday update will come in about an hour after this video is posted with betting market information. Make sure you check that out. Occupy Model ranks every golfer FanDuel and DraftKings using our proprietary metrics, projected ownership, and our lineup builder allows you to build up to 300 lineups using our optimal lineup criteria. So make sure you check all that. All that is in the description below. All the links you need in the description below. Make sure you're subscribed if you watched this far and you like what you've seen. That'll let you know in the future when we upload these videos. You won't miss them. Sometimes the YouTube algorithm won't show them to you again in the future unless you're subscribed. So make sure you're subscribed. Helps us out, helps you out. Give us a thumbs up. We appreciate it. Any questions, comment on the video below or join our Discord server, occupyfantasy.com/Discord. So Brian Jester for Occupy Fantasy, thank you for listening and good luck at the Genesis Invitational.